Hello, everyone. Welcome to our June 4th show. Hello, Liz.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show today on Thursday. Yes, we have a lot of things we're going to talk about today.
And one of the things, maybe you're going to wonder why Liz and I are both in black. This is just to show our solidarity to what is happening right now in the world. I mean, we try to stay away from religion and politics, but there are just certain daily events, we cannot step away with. And today was the funeral of George Floyd. And I know, Liz, there's a couple of things, you wish to share.
Yes, and actually it's more than a daily thing. This has been happening on a daily basis, This has been going on for quite some time. And it really breaks my heart. It's a sad, very sad situation that we have to go through all of this just to get justice. Today is George Floyd's service. So we want to honor him. That's why we're wearing black today. And after the show, I'm going to do 9 minutes of solidarity. And I am so happy that around the world, they're also protesting with us, because this means a lot to everyone, not just a few people, but it means a lot to everyone. Injustice is everywhere. We need to be careful how we treat our people. And it's just, one of those things that we would be remiss if we got on this show today and didn't say anything. Me being a Black woman here, born and raised right here in San Diego, I've seen a lot of things. Right now, sometimes people make it okay to treat people a certain way, but we all know that it's not right. But when white Americans join us in letting us know that they care about us, it makes things a whole lot better. 300 years ago, I would never have thought that we would be right back to this point. Martin Luther King didn't die in vain, we're revisiting this again. And I just, like I said, it breaks all of our hearts, not just mine. I mean, I have children, and we're still not even over the coronavirus. We're worried about that, wearing our mask, not being, 6 feet away from people. And then, all this breaks loose. And then, someone or the other young man, he couldn't even go jogging in peace, just jogging, just going to get some exercise. And, this is what happens. These children I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but there's a whole lot to say. The children are afraid, they are afraid, to drive, to just be out and about, even with, the coronavirus. And now, all of this, we're just afraid. We need a healing. We need help. We need everybody to be on the same page. And I urge everyone that's listening under the sound of my voice, when it comes time to vote, your vote does matter. So please get out and vote. And, your issues, let you know this, that your vote does matter. I can't say it enough. It does, it matters. And like I said, we're dealing with a whole lot of things. It's it's so many things we're all dealing with, and I feel that the whole entire world is supporting us. And that's a step in the right direction, and that they have been charged. To see someone actually kneel down on someone and you watching, you're just as guilty as the person kneeling down on the person's neck. And then the person filming, I just don't understand it. I don't. But like I said, I feel like we're, moving in the right direction. We still have a long ways to go. We
Yeah,
do, but we're moving in the right direction. That's for
yeah.
sure.
I think for me it's so good to see, that there is world support, that
Yes.
people talk about the racism and what is happening. And it's unfortunately not just in the United States, it's in Europe, it's in Africa, it's in the Middle East. I mean, it's there. And, you know, we call us a modern society, and you feel like you've been thrown back to the Stone Ages here.
Yes.
And I think that there has been just too much tolerating, or has it become so much part of our, daily life, that we get kind of, how shall I say, nearly numb to it. But I guess that
Yes.
this time, I hope that this life was not lost in vain, like many others before, but that
Right.
this really changing the conversation, and that we're going to see, progress in all this, really.
Yes, I believe it. I believe it within my heart. I know that we're about to make some changes. I know it is. We are. We're going to make some changes because we just, we don't deserve this. We don't. We
No,
don't deserve this.
we don't. And on that note, actually, I would like Michael Monaco into our conversation. He is the publisher of our hometown magazine, and um, being a media man yourself, I mean, we have to literally say that, a media man. Um, you go back, I think, on over 19 years in the media. And
28 years.
sorry?
Almost 28 years on and off.
Well, I didn't
Hi, Michael.
Hi,
yourself.
how are you, Liz?
I'm hanging in there. And hi, Yannis.
Hello.
I understand these are interesting times,
Yes, very,
sad times.
very.
At least to share. But just, to familiarize, our viewers a little bit with your publication, I'm just going to go on shared screen and actually pull up your publication. So here we go, our hometown, and our hometown happened to be Chula Vista and Bonita, and this is your updated website. Well, obviously it says 71.3 degrees Fahrenheit, and it is Thursday, June the 4th. So tell us a little bit, about your publication.
Well, thank you. So our hometown magazine started back, about 10 years ago when two local brothers decided to take a step back from basic media, from the sensationalism and the hype, and get to the grassroots of what really drives a community. And Chula Vista and Bonita are beautiful communities that have a lot to offer. For most of you might know that Chula Vista is the second largest city in San Diego County. It has just about everything someone would want in a city, from a wonderful city government to a safe city to a destination city. And within a city of this size, there's so many beautiful stories that do not get told because major market media doesn't always have the time and the space to do it. So these two brothers back in 2010 started it was then called My Hometown Magazine.
Oh, wow.
And they just focused on the good things that were happening in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And so they ran that for a couple of years, but struggled. So I bought it from them 7 years ago and launched it as Our Hometown Magazine. Now I changed the name from My Hometown Magazine, Possessive, to Our Hometown Magazine, Inclusive, because I wanted this magazine to represent everybody in our community. And everybody in our community has access to this publication, and they have a voice. So this magazine really became our magazine, not my magazine, but our community's magazine. And that's what we focus on, is what's happening in our community of Chula Vista Bonita. What are the good things? Who are the people, the families, the organizations loving on our community? And then what we do is we give them exposure. We help people understand that in our city, there are resources, there are people who care, there's neighbors who care, there are volunteers who care, there's churches and nonprofits that are out there to help. And we just connect the dots. We help people find resources, we help readers find stories that make them smile and proud to be a citizen of this wonderful city.
Yeah, and I do have to say, you know, being myself here from Chula Vista, that publication like yours is very important. You know, I was just looking at some population numbers, you know, from Chula Vista, and I remember coming to Chula Vista, there was barely 120,000, you know, heads living here, and 20 years later, your population has grown to over 200, I think 47,000, and we were the 100th largest city in the United States. Now we are 75th largest city. That's probably going to make some people smile, you know, from overseas and on. They say, what? Number 75. I mean, they don't realize, I think, how large America really is. I mean, they hear New York, they hear San Francisco, they hear Los Angeles, and this multi-million. Oh, hold on. I just threw San Francisco in the pot. I have to apologize, guys, from San Francisco. San Diego is actually larger than San Francisco. But anyhow, you know, what I really liked about you, Mike, is you're very passionate about the community here. And I think we are very fortunate to have someone like you, you know, who has this magazine and publishes it. And, well, tell us a little more about the people you publish about.
Oh, thank you for giving me that. You kind of softballed that question to me, and I love it. Thank you. One of the things that our hometown magazine has been able to do, because of how we write and what we do, we would be considered a contrarian in publishing in the purest sense. And that is, we don't want to control the information. We actually want our subjects to have influence and input. And by doing so, we've been able to write stories and been given opportunities to write stories that no other major market media has been able to do. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. You can go to our archive and you'll see these articles. But in November of 2013, we wrote an article, and every November we gave that issue to our vets. So our military vets, that was their issue. That was where we honored our vets. And the first one we did was a man named Skip Crane. Skip Crane was SEAL Team 1-1. He was the very first Navy SEAL. And we all know about Navy SEAL. We know what they do. Very private people who protect, you know, their country. We got to tell his story, which he has not shared with anybody else ever. 2 years later, we did another story on Bob Sutherland, who is the owner of a majority of the McDonald's here in South Bay, but he was a corpsman in Vietnam. A man who now has great influence, great wealth, great generosity. But we were able to tell his story as a person, not as a business owner, but as a person, and to show light in his life. And his life has been navigated through tragedy. Not just him, his whole family has experienced challenges. And we are the only people that he believed in to tell his story. Last November, again, we told the story of Jim Benninger and other POWs. Now, Jim Benninger, you may not know that name, but you'll know who he was in the same cell block row with, and that was Admiral Stockdale and John McCain at the Hanoi Hilton as a POW in Vietnam War. So he kind of expressed what was it really like to be a POW in the Hanoi Hilton during the Vietnam War. And he shares that with us. He shares intimate details that have never been published because he trusts us. And when you tell the truth, when you give them control, when you allow them to speak their heart and their voice without censorship, you get amazing stories. And that's what we do.
No, I like that very much. Please go ahead, Liz.
I think that's awesome. First, when you said corpsman, my husband is a submarine corpsman, retired Navy submarine corpsman as well. Is this a free publication, and can you do a subscription?
Well, good question. So we migrated at the end of 2019. We published our last paper issue. We were a 28 to 36 page local magazine that was published on paper, but we decided and realized that it was not sustainable. We kind of had to step into the 21st century and look at really where is our audience going and what do we need to do to stay relevant. So we stepped away from printing and we built the state-of-the-art website, Newspace, that you see now. So in order to do that, we put in some things that, again, allow our readers to feel empowered. So yes, Liz, you can subscribe for free on our website. Not only can you subscribe for free on our website, you get to choose when and how we contact you. So we don't want to be one of those publications that inundate your inbox with junk. So when you subscribe, you actually get to say, only notify me when there's a story on the community or education or a spotlight of a citizen, and only communicate to me on my cell phone or my email. So once again, we turn around and we give the power back to the readers and we tell them, tell us how you want us to communicate with you so that we protect your privacy, but yet give you information that you want in a timely way at a place and time that's convenient for you.
Right, that's awesome.
I love that. Well, Michael, with that, have you any final thoughts or words before we switch over to Yannis?
You know, believe that the media can be helpful. Believe that in what you see oftentimes, which is sensationalism, it's done in the sense because that's what drives revenue. We're not revenue driven. Seek out nonpartisan, non-sensationalism medias and support them, especially if they're your voice, especially if you share their voice, support them. Major media has got one agenda, but community-based, local, non-censored media has a different agenda, and that is to speak the truth and empower its community to be better. And that's just what our hometown magazine does.
Right, that's awesome. I can't wait to subscribe. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. And well, the cool thing is if people want to know about, you know, the South Bay, hey, they can subscribe to your publication, you know, they can sit anywhere here in the US or overseas. And I hope, you know, that it should be a little more spread because it's always good to know what goes on in a community, no matter where you are.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Liz.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Well, Yannis.
Hello, Eric.
Kesha.
It's been a long time. I might just want to, and hello, Kesha. Thank you for joining us. And yes, the light is better.
Great.
I just want to say a couple of words, you know, about Yannis. Yannis and I, we go back quite a while. I even happened to employ him about 20 years ago at the Westgate Hotel as maître d'hôtel for the then still existing Fontainebleau room, where we were actually nominated Best French Restaurant in San Diego. And Yannis has the luck. I mean, I say the luck. Yannis is maybe like, yeah, have to work a lot. Worked for Alain Ducasse, which is one of the most decorated French chefs in the world. but through that also has an incredible career. The only thing is, what is probably really the downside in his career, he has to travel a lot, and I know that his wife is giving him a lot of shit about that, but hey, that's what it is. And he opens Michelin rated, or here in the US would say 5-star restaurants all over the world. And what time is it right now where you are?
Right now, it's a greeting from New York, and it's 7 p.m.
Okay. All right.
Here. So we want actually to make Yannis a regular staple on the show, and that's why we have a, get to know Yannis. We will have once a month, the restaurant tip of the month, where to go, what are the trends and all that. But I also not just want to get that information from anybody. That's why I'm sorry, Yannis, I'm really picking on you here, to be the man, because you really have your finger on the pulse of the industry. And for the people who follow me on LinkedIn, probably saw also a lot of Yannis's articles that he shared and I reshared, because he's been very, very concerned about what was going on within the industry, the layoffs and everything you can think of, because till enterprises were actually ready to file for like the PPP, people were already laid off.
Correct.
And so that was a big impact. And I know that's a subject on your heart. So just talk about that first before we go to what's next after COVID.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me on the show, Liz and Eric. Yeah, of course, when COVID happened, we, in the industry, in the restaurant and hospitality in general, we didn't have a chance too much to get ready. It was a overnight, turn on, turn off. And I work for quite a large company. We are based in several countries and as well some continent in Asia and Middle East. So we saw it coming from Asia first and then Middle East, etc. But when he arrived in the States, he hit us brutally. And everyone got shut off, as you know, overnight per governor, for the best, and with all the knowledge they had, what was the best decision to take, to kind of slow down that curve. So that was the most difficult part to manage, because, next day you have, your fridge still full because you're supposed to open, you have your staff, who have been scheduled, and etc. So trying to understand how to react, I was already in the States in 2008, and that was already tough for this industry. So we had a little bit of, background of how to best manage that situation. But obviously this year was something that no one has ever thought about it. And the impact, forced us to close and to rethink our industry overnight.
Yeah, no, that is true. And the impact was like, in 2008, it was already bad, but it's true. The situation is absolutely uncomparable. How do you think the industry is going to bounce back?
Well, the major things that most of the operators right now are struggling is, obviously, like everybody else, if you don't own your restaurant, you have to pay your lease, and that period of time where, the next day you're looking at your landlord and you say, well, I cannot pay my rent. And the landlord's like, well, you have to pay me, I have my mortgage and my loan, So you suddenly have the pressure of already your debt. If people don't know much, but the restaurant industry is not an industry where you make a large amount of money. You know, most of the people who join that industry, it's because they are passionate of it, but it's not a place that you make a lot of money. There is a really small margin as a customer when you go to a restaurant, when you order your salad, you know, once you have paid your rent and your employees and the produce and the tax, etc., there is much left, you know. So suddenly, you know, with the small cash flow that you had, and suddenly you have to continue to pay the rent. You don't know if you have to furlough your staff or you have to lay off them, because obviously you don't know how long it's gonna take. You know, that was an equation that no one has a right answer. And it was not a question of like having the right or wrong answer. There was no answer, you know. No one has experienced that before. So it's easy for everyone to, you know, to criticize, you know, whatever direction was taken by, you know, government and landlord and insurance company. But at the end of the day, the reality, none of us were prepared for that. So it was just like trying, you know, something here, something there, you know, trying to put a recipe together to see what stick and what will work the best to continue your business.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So now, you know, because you're working around the globe, you are already starting reopening restaurants in certain countries?
Yeah, so our Hong Kong operation has already reopened. And the first things we noticed is like people needed to get out again and see people and be in contact. So that was a good sign, because we were concerned at this equation. Will you go out, right? You have been home, you know, stay home order, you know, protecting your loved one, your family, trying to do the best for the communities. And then suddenly you was like, could you go out? But there is no vaccine still, right? You have still the chance to be contaminated. So that was kind of reassuring for us. Then in Dubai, we are in the Middle East. In Dubai, they reopened over a month ago now, right after the Ramadan. And they use the same as what the US is doing right now as a strategy, meaning, you know, lowering the capacity of the restaurant, so putting at 50% capacities, as well, you know, monitoring your staff, obviously, because, you know, you need to make sure they are in a good care. It's your responsibility, but as well, the client. So we noticed that people were coming back slowly, and as long as you were able to show them that you were trying your best to protect them, you know, by, you know, obviously taking temperature, wearing mask, giving social distances, etc., they were willing to go back to your businesses. Obviously, I speak about restaurants primarily, but, you know, we saw throughout Dubai, you know, people going back to their barber, to the nail salon, not by commodities, but they needed to have this interaction. So we saw it as a positive, and we believe, you know, the people gonna go back. Now the problem will be again the equation. When you build a business, you know, you build at 100% capacity. You're not, you know, buying a place is to just fill it out at 50% capacity. So
well,
again,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just continue. The thing is, I just want to show our listeners what type of restaurant we are talking about, so they get a little bit, you know, a grasp. Because when you say, you know, this type of restaurants in operation, they have not been built to be at 50% capacity.
Right.
No, and that's another challenge we have. So the parent company that I work for, we have focused all our businesses on nightlife. So we operate restaurant like the one you're showing right now is Zuma. It's a concept exactly. The original one was in London, but it's based on a Japanese cuisine, but has a big, strong lounge business with DJ every night of the week, a big bar component. So obviously when people go to those environments, you know, it's a party atmosphere. Suddenly you force them to sit down in a table, you know, with 2 feet of each other. You cannot be a party of 6 or more. So all those restrictions for us, you know, again, it's about how we rethink our concept. And this is one of them. Koya, it's a Peruvian concept that as well is in London, in Paris, in Dubai, in Saint-Tropez. We're opening in Mykonos in next week. So it's all of those concepts are really nightlife, people partying.
Can I ask a question? Could you tell us a little bit about, I mean, these restaurants are absolutely gorgeous. They're beautiful. How are they going to really manage the social distancing? Are people really going to, you know, social distance once they've had a little, you know, cocktail here and there? I'm just wondering, how's that going to work, you know, for guests?
It's a great question, Liz. And right now, we don't have an answer for that for US. And the reason I'm saying US is like in Asia, when we reopen, it's known by the culture. Asian people are already, you know, that's why the curve was not that strong in some of the Asian countries. They don't shake hands, you know, they don't kiss like the European. So there is already a distance in general, and they really respect the law and the rules, you know. In Middle East, in Dubai, you know, when there is an action taken or a law, you know, apply, people follow to, you know, to the letter.
Right.
Now, when you're coming to Latin country, like in Europe, in Italy, Spain, or if you're coming to the US, in New York, in LA, in San Diego, or obviously we have these things in us that is like more freedom, you know, let me take my own responsibility, etc. I think people are slowly understanding that it's a common effort, it's a community effort. And we saw it at least in New York. In New York, there was not at the beginning a straight order from the governor to stay home, you know. He was, you know, really advocated that you have to stay home, it's the best for everybody else, etc. And people by their own realized that it was important. So I think when the business is going to reopen and the New York restaurant is going to be the second phase on June 22nd, I think people are going to be respecting and see that there is a big risk, you know, for one night out.
Right.
But to come to what we are going to have you on the show in the future, what would be your tip? And in this case, you know, we just want to particularly speak about New York. What would be your tip, or what reopening, say, of the, say, 3 top ranking restaurants you would say people should go to?
I would prefer to say that before going to anywhere, is like go back to where you used to go, because I think right now it's important. Well, obviously there is always the favorite restaurant, you know, in every city, you know, either because they are high-end fine dining or because, you know, they have the best Chinese foods or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, we're talking about the small businesses. They are the ones who are being suffered the most. A company like us, you know, we are globally, etc. But the small, you know, Mexican place around your corner that you used to go, you know, with your family, etc. That's the one you have to go. And in New York, it is the same, you know. Before I'm going to go anywhere, even to my favorite restaurant, you know, I'm going to go to see first all the small restaurants that I used to go, because I know they're going to need us more than the big one. So just, you know, focus on the little one for now.
Well, I think you have actually a very, very good point there. So I'm going to skip my question for the next time.
Yeah, and hopefully next time we're going to have much more restaurant open in New York.
Oh, gosh. Thank you very much, Yannis. And Kesha, before we come to you, because, you know, I'm so glad that we're having you on the show, because then you can apply your healing power to all of us. but now to my little segment, you know, my little self-healing is my glass of wine. And like I said in the previous... yes, Chin Chin, in the previous show, you know, I'm going to give you my wine tip of the week, and for that I'm going to share the screen again.
And Eric, I missed the memo on the wine.
Sorry?
I missed the memo. I would have had a glass of wine to share with you if I knew that it was appropriate in your show. Now I know.
Well, I won't say anything, but next time, read the show instructions.
I've got it right here. I don't see where it says drink wine.
I think we should just put it in small print and on the very end, you know,
A
as
very
it's-
tiny
Oh,
print.
favorite beverage. Okay, I see that.
So, well, we're going to the high mountains of Bodega in Argentina this time. And I have a Catena Malbec here, 2017. For people which like Malbec and usually, you know, like the soft side of that wine, they won't find it here. I do have to say it's a very robust, very in-your-face wine, actually. And again, you can drink it, you know, you order it on wine.com. They make it easy for you. And, well, that's my tip. And no, Liz, please introduce Kesha.
All right, today we have a really cool young lady, Kesha Lenoir Fairman. She is the CEO of Tripoint Media Technology and also Why Wait TV, and just recently, the Circle of Wholeness. She has been in business for quite some time, and she's a very gifted, talented young lady. And she and I have known each other maybe 15 years or so, and I've seen her do many fabulous things. So Kesha, welcome to our show. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey? She's muted.
That's okay. What about unmuting yourself? Okay.
It's not working.
Let me see. Well, no?
Okay. How about
There
that?
you go. There-
I passed the
Would you
Zoom
love
test.
that?
Yeah, so my name is Kesha Lenoir Fairman. I'm actually from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I moved to Atlanta about 5 years ago to create a media technology company called Tripoint Media and Technology. I've partnered with this amazing, the only word I have from him is genius. So we write our software and build our hardware. Everything is done in-house. And I was fortunate enough to meet Layron Walker after I had brain surgery. So I was a runner, perfectly healthy, and all of a sudden I started gaining a tremendous amount of weight. I had a baby, and after I had my baby, I went back to my normal size. And then one morning I woke up and was just completely swollen, and nobody could explain why. So I was misdiagnosed for about 3 years. And in between that time, I kind of met some people that weren't very nice. They just assumed because I was always healthy that I was overeating, and that's what was causing me to have all the weight. By the time I had my brain surgery, I was 283 pounds, so I had gained almost 130 pounds, if not more. And so met Layron because I had this passion to create some content that wasn't like your normal weight loss shows. I wanted something that spoke to individuals that were having issues with their health that was causing them to have weight issues. So I created Why Wait TV. And in the midst of creating Why Wait TV, Layron and I have worked on some other things as far as technology is concerned. So that's why you have the media and technology, because I produce film and TV, and then in-house we also do a lot of things as it relates to children and sensors and technology. And so after having the brain surgery, I moved to Atlanta, was here for a while, and a big advocate for the National Brain Tumor Society, was preparing to run the New York Marathon to bring awareness to brain tumors. And I ended up going to St. Croix for my anniversary. And when I came back, I couldn't walk. So we thought I had chikungunya or dengue, and instead I had 2 blood clots in both legs. Had never had blood clots before. I was working out 3 times a day before we left. I was running and doing HIIT and weight training. So that went on for probably 3 or 4 months. And the day before, 2 days before I was supposed to leave for the New York Marathon, I just felt like I should go to the ER and get checked out. And we found that the blood clots had gotten larger and it had actually turned into a pulmonary embolism. So thank God I did not get on a plane.
I love how you say that with a big smile on the face and picture on it.
Yeah.
Embolism. Like the best thing you could have in life.
Well, you know, that's one of the things I talk to Liz about all the time, because for every trial that I've had and for every setback, I truly believe I'm in my purpose. And I'm okay now. I'll tell you the end of it, and then you'll really be a little shocked. So found the pulmonary embolism, did a cardiac catheterization. They said I had perfect heart. I was absolutely healthy. And then the end of February 2019, I ended up going back to the hospital, and my blood clot in my lung had gotten larger. This time I ended up staying in the hospital for 26 days.
I remember that.
Because I had a blood clot in the entire opening of my heart, and I had 3 blood clots on each leaflet. So they kind of don't understand how or why I'm still alive. And in saying that, I know that it's because of my purpose. And I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. Even the worst things that can happen to us sometimes lead us to the brightest and the most enjoyable journeys once you can get out of that headspace. But it's getting out of the headspace that's the key.
Right, exactly. I remember when you were going through all that, and she always manages to bounce back. And your business with Why Wait TV, you have a lot of people that you have helped lose weight. I mean, I've watched all your videos, and it's amazing to see, you know, your product and it actually in action, you know, helping people lose weight. And, you know, it's a lifestyle. It's not something that you know, kind of do overnight. Losing weight is, you know, it's a process. You have to change your life pretty much to be able to.
My focus with Why Wait is to really hone in on changing your lifestyle and your mindset, because weight is not just the physical weight. Sometimes our mental weight can be heavier than the weight that we carry daily. So if we can find a balance between both of those, typically, depending on how you look at things, things can somehow turn around for you. And so for me, Why Wait TV was not about the number on the scale, because I was presumed to be healthy. I was a runner. I would run 6 to 10 miles a day. So that wasn't the issue for me. I had a medical condition that no one knew. I was misdiagnosed for 3 years. So as a business owner and being self-employed and an entrepreneur, stress is a huge thing that we all deal with. And so I actually suffered from Cushing's, and I had a pituitary tumor. So it was all stress related. And once I made that decision that I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to put out a message that didn't have to do with a diet or the scale or how many workouts you did, but actually going and finding out the source and how do we fix it, and not just fix it, but how do we find the problem and then find a solution instead of giving me different meds. So I was very passionate about that. I did not want to just be put on a lot of different meds. I wanted to figure out how to fix the problem. And I didn't want to just do that for me. I wanted to give this gift to other people as well and let them see that you don't have to just take a diagnosis and lay down and die. You have the ability to change your life by your thoughts. And that's what I did. I would not be in Atlanta. I would not have met Layron and had this amazing relationship and was able to create Tripoint Media had I not had the brain tumor. And so after having that, I think Liz saw the video. I was supposed to run the New York Marathon. And so what I ended up doing was the day of the marathon, in my gown, I made a bib. And all the nurses came out and cheered me along, and I walked 26 laps around the unit.
They can't keep a good woman down.
No, it's all mental. But I mean, you guys are entrepreneurs. I've been sitting here listening, and you know, you have to have that mental fortitude and the wherewithal that no matter what, I'm going to make it. And so I see, Eric, that you're pulling up the Circle of Wholeness right now.
Exactly, I do, because
Thank you, Eric.
you're welcome, because I got the impression everything you experienced led to the inner circle.
Yes, yes.
Circle of Wholeness.
Yes, so St. Croix is where everything was triggered. And while there, I was just like, oh my God, this is an amazing space, and it's so beautiful and so serene. And we need to have wellness retreats that aren't just about yoga or aren't just about, I wanted something that really covered the whole mind, body, and spirit, and finding that inner circle to make those things happen and possible. So I've partnered with some amazing folks on island, and my plan is to bring this retreat not just to St. Croix, but other places. We had to, of course, postpone everything because of COVID, but we have some amazing doctors that are already on island. A beautiful retreat center, the Buccaneers, where we would be hosting the retreat, but we've also talked with, and we've gotten the government involved to have them understand how important it is for their tourists to get the full picture of what St. Croix offers, and not just the full picture of what St. Croix offers, but we want them to understand that when you come there, there are a whole lot of things that you can tap into, including yourself. So that's, of course, the website. We have several experts coming in from Atlanta and different places across the U.S., but we do like to utilize locals. So whatever area we're in, we really like to utilize the locals to help us as far as doctors are concerned, and yoga instructors, chefs, and different things of that nature.
Right. I love the fact that you've actually incorporated the chefs, because they give you balanced meals, and you know, that's a really good thing, because you know, pretty much we are what we eat, you know,
Yes.
changing our diets. But we can't talk about changing our our diets. But yeah, you know, that's very important that she actually has a, you know, really good regimen with the chefs, you know. Can anyone, how does that work with the chefs? Do you employ them there, or, you know, how does that go? How does that work?
So we will typically bring them in and, of course, take care of all of their expenses. We were fortunate enough to have some individuals that are already on island. Because I am on blood thinners, because I had to have, I have my warrior scar that I kind of wear with pride, but I had my aortic valve replaced. So I'm on blood thinners. And just to kind of show you the power of positivity, I was fortunate enough to meet a hematologist that's on island, which is very critical for me, especially when I'm traveling. And so the hematologist on island is going to work with the chef that is currently in St. Croix. And we're going to do pescatarian meals instead of vegan or vegetarian, but it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's completely covered. Every state that we go in, we would like to bring in a different chef or work with a local restaurant to make sure, because that is, to me, the key to the foundation of making yourself better. It's what we put in our gut.
Yeah,
and so working with food and working with experts that can kind of talk us through what our meals should look like is just as important as your doctor. Sometimes I think your food is more important than your doctor, because we eat so many things that are making us unwell.
Exactly.
Gosh, yeah. I think I have to hook you up also with Yannis, you know, and then you both go on a culinary trip of things which don't trip you out.
Yeah, that would be amazing. My goal is literally to have one of these retreats in every state at some point. Again, St. Croix just became that place for me.
Hello, Kesha. Well, I guess
Kind of
she's
frozen
for the moment. Hey, this can happen, and till she recovers, you know.
Oh, here she is.
Oh, there she goes.
You just froze up.
I was stuck.
Frozen in time.
Yes. But no, I was just saying that I would love to work with as many people as possible to get the message out to as many people as possible, because there are a lot of people that are really hurting right now. And of course, our health affects our finances. It affects everything around us, especially with insurance and things of that nature. And so for me, having doctors and different experts, chefs, and not just yoga instructors, but people who have actually mastered what it is that they're doing, to sit and talk with individuals to help them understand the importance of who their inner circle is and how do we become whole within our circle is my goal. So with Why Wait and the Circle of Wholeness, that's kind of what Kesha does. That's what makes me excited. My partnership with Layron, we do a lot of things with kids. Philanthropy is a really big thing for me. So we're consistently working with schools here in Atlanta and exposing kids to different things in technology. I'm tinkering in some things with medical marijuana and things of that nature, just as alternatives so that people can understand the importance of not just taking a prescription and really doing their research.
Yeah, it's true. You can't do it just for fun like here in California.
Yes. So we're working on technology to work within within that field. We actually have hydroponics. We have a hydroponics and aquaponics system that we're working on right now. And just to speak a little bit about the technology piece, my partner and I are working to develop, sorry guys, it sounds like it's about to storm here in Atlanta. But we're working on summer programs for children that will work with forums. They'll be able to use our technology to work with people all over the world. And we're using that same technology to connect individuals within the cannabis space as well.
That's good.
That's very interesting.
That leads me literally into our next part of the show, the open mic, because I can tell that Michael is dying to ask you some questions. I can see it on his face. And that's why we created that open mic, you know, that all our guests can stay at the show if they want to till the very end, and then just ask each other questions.
Yes.
I mean, ask if you have to.
Is that my cue there, Eric?
Yes, that's. I left it in here.
Kesha, I wish you lived in my neighborhood because I could write a whole book about you. You have an incredible story.
Oh, well, thank you. I can always fly to your neighbor. Wait, well, you know, we can work it out with all this travel.
I really, no, okay, well, pun intended, I really love your heads at in this. I really like kind of how you've wrapped yourself around it. And I don't know if you ever heard this phrase, but Norman Vincent Peale has a phrase that I would say epitomizes who you are, and that is, through every adversity holds within itself a seed to an equal or greater benefit. And you have really discovered that, and you've really owned it. And I think it's a beautiful part of you, and I think I applaud you for not letting any of this overshadow your desire to become who you are.
Exactly.
Well, I truly believe that within my heart and soul, that every single thing that has ever happened to me and with me and for me has led me to a better place. I'm here talking with you amazing people tonight because of my journey. So I don't look at it as a bad thing. I won't tell you that I don't have my human moments where I'm like, what in the hell is happening in my life right now? But soon after, I pull it together and I'm like, you know what? Whatever this is, it's going to lead me to something greater. And that's where I want to be, where the greater is.
Right. And it has. That's for sure. Absolutely.
Just the website you have of St. Croix, I was already feeling very relaxed.
Really? Well, you'll have to come. We'll have to invite you there and have you a part of what it is that we're doing.
I warn you, I am a carnivore.
No problem. So am I. So am I. I'm working to change that just a little bit. I mean, I have it a little bit here and there, but Everybody has to have some steak every now and then.
Right, exactly.
Well, nobody is perfect, you know?
That's
So
right.
it's totally, fine with me. What I admire is just, the compassion and passion which we have, from all our show guests, and they come from, all different type of lives. It's incredible, but what everybody has is really that passion about what they do, and they want to move forward, and that positiveness. That is really what we want to harness. So thank you, Kesha. Thank you, Michael, for being on the show, and just share that passion and positiveness with our viewers.
Yes, thank you guys so much. We certainly appreciate you being here.
Kesha, it was a pleasure meeting you.
It was such a pleasure meeting you, Michael, and I'd love to chat with you more. I would love to chat with, I do not want to mispronounce his name. Was it Yasmin? What was his name again?
Yannis.
Yes. The pictures of the restaurants, I was like, how do we incorporate this in some of these retreats? What do we do? I know there's capacity that we were talking about. I know
you guys should you need to have a conversation. That's what it's all about.
That's right.
I think we should call it the Eric and Liz food tour.
Yes!
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, then you guys can come to Louisiana and have some crawfish.
Woo!
Crawfish is good. You suck the head?
I do. I'm from Louisiana.
Right.
That's the best part.
That's
Yes.
right. I don't know if you guys can hear that thunder in the background or not.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Wow. Well. Yeah. I know we are so. Our weather is so shady here in San Diego. What shall I say? The sun is hitting on me.
Yeah, sorry about the sunshine,
Right.
We're so blessed. The weather is always fabulous here. We have a couple of gloomy days and we're all like, oh no, where's the sun? Oh, please.
I know.
I wish we could say that about Atlanta.
Yeah, we're always.
Is it that bad?
Well, Atlanta, it's a lot different than Louisiana. Louisiana is so humid, it just feels like you're smothering all the time.
Right.
Atlanta, you can wake up and it'll be absolutely beautiful like it was today, and now it looks like the bottom is about to fall out. And then in an hour, it'll be back normal again.
That's good. Well, with that said, I'm sorry you have that thunderstorm here, so all our regards from us three to you. Let the sunshine in.
That's right, I am. I mean, it's pretty bright in here with you guys smiling back at me. It's just the noise that I'm hearing.
Right.
It hasn't changed anything else. Yeah, so.
Thank you again, Kesha, for coming. It was our pleasure to have you on our show today.
Thank you,
We'd
Michael.
love to have you back. And Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for having me. And please check out Why Wait TV's website as well when you get a chance.
Oh, yes. Check out
Thank
her
you.
video. Ooh, I love it.
Oh, and don't forget, watch yourself on YouTube.
I will.
I'll send you the link.
Perfect. And I'll send it out and have people subscribe.
Oh, I know you will. Yes.
Okay. See you guys.
All right. Take care, guys.